Update of what's been going on around this place. If I bring home too many more cars, I'm gonna have to call this place the Trifive Farm. So I got a little surprise for you guys. So the last live stream video I did, I knew this was coming, but I figured I'd wait till it got here. And you guys have seen this before, but figure this out again here. Look what ended up in Wisconsin. So you guys probably recognize this from about a month ago when I went out and saw my uncle in Washington. This is his 57 sedan delivery that we both decided that I should end up with. Now, I didn't think I'd get it back here this fast because I wasn't sure how I was going to get it back here. But on the way back, so here, back up. So I was sitting in the airport after we decided that I was going to end up with this. We still hadn't figured out how I was going to get it back here. I'm sitting in the airport and my uncle messages me and says that a buddy of his is actually heading back this way to pick up a car, I think in Indiana, with an empty trailer. So he said if I was interested in maybe splitting some gas, that he'd bring it back here and drop it off. So of course, sure, sounds good to me. I can get here fast. But he had a little bit of trouble along the way. So what used to be an original dent-free car, one way or another, he got ran off the road. The corner of the trailer dug in, and now, unfortunately, we got a little damage to fix. I did find out that it had a little rust hole there. I seen that when I was out there, and I thought it looked a little bit funny. But he said a strap broke, so now I got some dents up in here. Caved in there. Actually ripped the quarter there. Now this is the side I'm not happy with, but I'm happy with. Because if I come around here, here's where it gets bad. So you see this corner, you can tell down here, it got pushed in. Well, look at that. Now we have problems. So got the quarter, got a little bit down in here, into the door. And some of you might have already seen this on Facebook, so I did put this on a couple of Facebook groups I'm in. Luckily, it did not get the front end at all. I mean, a little bit, you know, got a little scuff in the bumper there. And something happened up here. I'm not quite sure what happened, but scratched up the cowl, got that, got the windshield. So now, what was going to be a scuff and shoot, put the trim on it and drive it this summer, turned into a, I'm gonna probably have to change the quarter panels. Or at least the passenger side one, because this is just not gonna be fixable. I mean, I'm sure it could, but I mean, it actually broke the split the metal down there. And if you look, you can tell the fin is not quite straight. And as clean as this car was, I really don't want to pound it out and mud it up. So I have a couple of options. Golden Star does make this piece here, goes right to the factory spot welds. And you can replace this whole section of the fin. So if I take this off and replace that piece, what I'm thinking I might do is either order that piece, and then I think what I can also do is take a portion of this quarter off this pink 57 I got down here. That one that you guys seen, I think, the last video. But it's actually pretty solid, like I showed you before. So I think what I could do is I could get that inner panel, and then I could split the seam, like see on the 57, you got a nice seam right along here. Split that all the way down, replace that section, and then basically I could use this whole quarter all the way up until the wheel well, just trim it along here and weld it in. I'm not really crazy about that because I don't really want a big huge seam down basically the front half of the quarter panel. On my 55, I actually did that. You'd never know. but it was a lot of work. So this car actually, this whole corner of the car from here down all the way into the trunk lip is actually off a four-door sedan, because this car, somebody backed into something, and this, I mean, the whole back of the quarter was crushed, and the lower quarter panel was rotten. So actually, I give away my secrets here. This whole quarter panel is pieced together. So like I said, the whole corner there, and then it's got a partial from obviously here all the way down. And if you feel up in here, this is actually those partial panels that I welded it together here. So that whole lower quarter is a partial, and then that back half was a partial all the way back. But like I said, I cut it right here to change that quarter. So, or corner of the quarter. So I could do that on this 57. The other thing now, so my uncle that I got this from in Washington State, lo and behold, he's got a buddy that just passed away actually. He bought a 57 sedan delivery last fall, and he loved old cars. He had a ton of original C1 Corvettes and anything you could think of. But anyway, he bought a 57 sedan delivery, and it was a pretty nice shape. The quarters are pretty decent and everything. He passed away, I think, last fall or earlier this spring. Well, a tree fell on it, so apparently 57 sedan deliveries are bad luck. Well, anyway, my uncle ended up just buying that from his daughter as a parts car. And that thing, I'll have to see if I can find some pictures of it or figure out how to upload it on here. The quarter on that is, as far as we can tell, as nice as this one was. So I'm thinking, we were talking about it, I might have that shipped back here and just replace the whole quarter all the way into the door jamb, into the side of the lift gate area here. Because really, there's a seam right on the inside here that I could actually replace that full quarter all the way to the factory seams. And the here, you guys never got to see this, how solid this car actually is on the inside. I mean, the spare tire wheel, not a spot of rust. The floors are all real nice. You can see though, there's the holes and stuff, because like I told you before, this car was was a fire department car. And you can see on the roof, I don't know if you can see in here or not, but yeah, you probably can't. But up in there, like there's one there, they must have had the hazard lights or the sirens or whatever bolted to the roof with a rack, because those have been all welded up and everything. So this thing's pretty solid. So I kind of think I really want to change, just put the full quarter panels on it. Like I say, they don't reproduce these, so you can't really buy a full reproduction quarter for these cars. You'd have to buy a hardtop quarter or a convertible quarter and slice it down the top. And then they all have the dip in here. You'd have to section that out and drop it down. So I'm not really crazy about doing that. So I really think the way to properly fix this is to try to get that other car back here and get the quarters off of it. Because the roof, you should see this thing. It was bad. I mean, it caved the roof in so bad that the A-pillars were pretty close to being flat. If you ever seen Home Improvement, when they dropped the I-beam on the Nomad, it kind of looked like that. But it did get into the passenger side quarter or the driver's side quarter a little bit, but I think I can deal with that and probably fix that other quarter. That one I think we're gonna have to change. So I have not had a whole lot of luck with Tri-5s lately either. So I drove my gray and white 55. I should have showed this to you when I was down there. So I found out the car delivery got in that accident and had problems. So I decided, well, maybe I'll hop in my 55, because I actually hadn't driven it yet this year. Drove it to work, and no problem. On the way back, ended up blowing a tire out on this thing. I was almost home, so had to park it alongside the road. And I have never seen this happen, but there's my compass. It's about a $300 compass. Look what it did. I don't know if it was from sitting in the sun all day or what, but my $300 compass is shot. I've never seen that happen, because like I say, I tried to limp this thing home and it overheated on me. So got about a quarter mile from home, because it happened right here, not too far from the house. And I just couldn't make it anymore because it started shredding the tire. So I had to have Jenny come pick me up, and I had to run home and get a spare tire. Luckily I had a a couple rallies mounted up and stuck it on there. So yeah, there's two of my horror stories. And I'll show you what else I've been doing here in the garage. Hopefully this weekend, I'm gonna get out here and actually make some actual videos that I can edit and stuff like that. It's just been crazy around here. So this guy right here was actually in the hospital. So I told you before he was going to have open heart surgery. Well, right after that, he ended up in the hospital anyway, totally unrelated to his heart. He ended up being anemic. So now they're sorting that out. He's fine now. They got his blood levels back up to where they're supposed to be. But kicked him out of the hospital, and now they're not sure what they're going to do on heart surgery. So that was supposed to happen last week. So now I kind of got the summer free now here. So I can have some free time to be able to work on the garage here and get some videos made and get some actual stuff done here. And as well as picking up around here, because man, I have a mess. So anyway, here's what else I've been doing with the old window delivery. So, and this is how I told you guys before, I end up with a ton of extra parts. So I had decided what I was going to do on this. I remember before I told you I was going to switch it to manual steering because I couldn't get the brackets to line up on this thing for power steering, and I just got irritated with it. So I decided I was going to put a manual rack back on it, or manual gear on it. Well, then I decided that I was going to change it to a short water pump so I could put the radiator on the inside of the core support, because I just like how that looks a lot better, like on this 57 delivery. I'll show you here in a second how it looks. Just to me, it looks so much better. Well, my 19-year-old self from about 20 some years ago got me, because this bracket, or these holes right here, I forgot this. Like I told you, this engine is from years and years and years ago. I built it. These holes were not drilled from the factory, so when I was working on this thing originally, I drilled and tapped them. But my young dumb self, apparently I got that hole at the wrong angle, so now nothing mounts up because the bolt's so far off. So back to plan A. I am going back to a long pump again after just putting the short one on there. And I ordered some March Performance pulley brackets, because those actually I know fit. I tried getting some, I tipped out, I shouldn't say it, but I did. I tried to get some of the cheap $25 brackets off of Amazon, and they just didn't fit. Cheap China stuff that I should have known better, but now I ordered the right stuff, so it should fit. And then also, that's the other reasons why I decided to stick with the power steering that I have on here, is because I forgot also these control arms. I ordered those with the offset shafts for power steering, and technically manual steering cars on these things really wanted negative caster, and you need positive with power steering. So I didn't want to waste these control arms with the offset shafts on a car that does not have power steering. So, and I really didn't want to tear the front end apart again, because I hate putting control arms and springs together. So we're going back to the original. Those brackets hopefully should be here this weekend. Hopefully I can get that all bolted together. I can then put the radiator, core support in and everything like that, so I can start this thing up. But here, I'll show you what the difference is. Let's see. And you guys may or may not agree with me, but I like the way this looks a lot better. All right, so here's the 57 delivery, but when the radiator is on the inside of the core support, it just looks a lot cleaner, I think, and that's the way a V8 in 55 through 57 would have worked. So with a short pump like that, the radiator goes on the inside. Now let's go down here and I'll show you my 55, because this also has a V8, but common practice when you're using either a big block or a long style water pump, which a lot of guys do, like I say, I did that on this, is to use a 6-cylinder radiator support and then put the radiator on the outside. It looks a little bit more modern that way, but I really like the 50s look, so let's see here. So there is the V8 with the radiator on the outside, and it looks too full in here to me. Like I said, I just like the looks a lot better. Obviously, with a straight 60 or inline 6, that would have been the factory spot, and that's fine. But to me, with a V8, it just looks a lot cleaner. So, but yeah, that's my 3 horror stories lately. My Tri-5 stuff did nothing lately. I go straight through streaks like that, you know. I just get to where nothing wants to work. You got to walk away, and then you walk back, and usually everything works perfect and goes right back together again. So the one last thing I'll show you I got here. So this was actually a good deal. So I knew I had this delivery coming, and obviously the seats and stuff. That's an original. That's Bel Air trim. So that's out of a Bel Air 2-door hardtop. I actually came up with there was a seat for sale back here. It's actually out of a 55, but it's all been redone. He gave me a good deal on it because I seen him and he asked me if I had a YouTube channel, so he might be watching this. But I picked up this 55 Del Rey seat. It's been all redone. The guy's got a 55 210 Del Rey, and he pulled the original seat out, put some bucket seats out of a Mustang in it, had them redone. But before I knew that car was getting wrecked, when it was on its way back here, I picked this up with plans of sticking that in the car for now, just to have a decent seat to sit on and ride around while I'm gonna order some seat covers for my original buckets, because I have a pair of original buckets. Actually, I have two sets of bucket seats for a sedan delivery. In fact, there's one in here in this 55 hardtop. So there's one of them there. So 55 through 57, I'm sure I said that before, but they had factory bucket seats. But for now, I was just gonna stick that 55 Del Rey seat in there just to have something comfortable to sit on. And I actually have a couple of 55 Del Rey door panels up there, so it would somewhat match, even though the door panels are off a 2-door sedan. Obviously, there's no side panels on a delivery, but I can put the door ones on there. They're blue and white, and the seat's black and white, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, right? So, but yeah, that was the plan. But guys, I guess I'm gonna get off here. That's been the other thing I've been doing, trying to get this place picked up from all the videos I made last year, and never got a chance to put a lot of stuff back. So I've been working on my free time trying to get this place cleaned up. As you can see, it's not working. But we're getting there. So hopefully, now, like I say, now the rest of the summer, we really don't have any plans up until the Tri-5 Nationals. We'll be going down there in the beginning of August. But other than that, my weekend should be free. My night should be free. So I'm going to get back to work on these things. Get some good videos up for you guys. I just got the last of the sheet metal I need for the floor for the window delivery. So I'm going to get that welded in. Probably start on that this weekend. Because if I get that done, I can get the bottom of the car painted. And that's pretty much, I have to put a little chunk of the floor in that I just decided I wanted a partial can to put that in and be done with it. And there's about a section about that big of the inner rocker on the passenger side, and I'd have to finish welding the passenger footwell pan in. Then I can bolt that body back on the chassis, and then it opens up a whole bunch of stuff I can do. I can get the booster put on, the brakes plumbed, the windshield in, the dash done, get all that stuff done so I can move this car into its own power. That's kind of my goal anyways. It'll help me if I can get a lot of these cars moving. I can pull them out of the way to work on other stuff. So, but Jeff, he's doing good. He's sitting right here, actually. There's both of them watching me live here. So Logan's doing good. We're just waiting to see. He's got another doctor's appointment in the beginning of August. They'll do his echo, and then they were thinking that some of his stuff he had going on might have been due to his anemia. So they'll decide at that point if he needs surgery now or later. He'll definitely have to have it, but just maybe not now. But now he's got his summer back, because if he was going to have surgery last week, he would have had to have had no swimming, no restriction, or a lot of restrictions and stuff like that. So at least this week he's got his summer back. So, but anyways, guys, we'll catch you later. Sorry for all the live videos lately. I've been really trying to get out here and do some actual videos to where I can edit them and show you how to work on stuff and get the parts out. But hopefully this weekend. So I don't want to leave you guys hanging too long. So, all right, guys, that's it for now. So hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Hopefully I can get this delivery fixed, because that's really driving me crazy now, that to know what this thing was like before it left Washington and what it is now. So we're gonna get it fixed up and finish the rest of this finish the rest of some of this stuff. I can't talk. But all right, guys, have a good night. Like and subscribe. Tell everybody. Tell your friends. And we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.